We're on, Nicholas. Oh, it's we're on my channel, so I should welcome to my channel, Nicholas. Do you like it? Do you like how I've done with the place?
Yes, it looks exactly like my own living room.
But it's got the glamour of very minor internet celebrity about it, I feel. So you're kind of a big deal now. Jesse what's name style. Maybe one day we'll have a unit named after us. Imagine that. Oh no, you've like written most of the rules. Anyway.
Not anymore, I haven't.
No, not anymore, you haven't. Anyway, so this is the UK Masters matchup annoy people cast, where we grandstand our opinions on why their lists are terrible and then they hate us forever, right? Am I right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Good. This year I'm Elliot Morrish, but not as handsome, basically. And
no, definitely not.
Much less manly.
Not as nice either. Elliot's just plain nice.
He's too nice, isn't he? He should stop that.
I know.
I like by implication that I'm not very nice.
Oh, you're solid 5 out of 7.
Thanks, man. I take that. I've got a very cheap whiskey, which I'm going to be drinking as we talk, because I think that'll add to the quality somewhat.
I'm not, because I'm on antibiotics.
Hey! Well, that kind of makes you a bit weird. Have a paracetamol with it. That sends you right off. Dear children, do not do this. All right, so the plan is we're going to go through the list, and just to add extra spice, I asked the hosts of Countercharge to give their opinions about which list would win the first matchup as well. And a solid half of them have responded. So, good job.
One of them is that.
Good job. No, there's 5 of us now. So good job, guys. So we've got Alex Coos has given his opinion. So Alex is a really good Racking player from Canada. And Rob Fanuff has given his opinion. He's a really bad ogre player from somewhere in the deep south of America. So
South Canada.
He's from North Mexico. That's where he's from.
North Mexico, okay.
Somewhere like, I think it's I want to say Mississippi. It's where most of the episodes of Countercharge are broadcast from. Because he's the only one that records anything.
It's in Mississippi. Good lord.
I think he lives in Mississippi. I'm going to look him up. While we're some live Facebook looking up. Robert Fanuff. You can never. He's from Memphis, Tennessee. I can't believe I said he's from Mississippi. He's going to kill me. Memphis, Tennessee.
He's also going to kill me because I remembered that he invited me over to Memphis.
He won't listen to this. Don't worry. He won't watch this.
No,
he has
that's
no
cool.
time. He's a busy man. All right, so we're going to go through the matchups. And for the people that don't want to sit through us wanging on for an hour and a half, whatever, I'll put the matchups in the video description. Maybe.
Yep.
With links to the lists, and we'll go from there. So, do you want some stats? Do you like stats, don't you, before we start?
Sure. Have you gathered stats? Because I haven't.
I have. I've done stats.
Good.
So, we're 16 players, because we have 16 players in the UK Masters, representing 10 armies. So, we've got 10 armies. 11 of those armies are evil armies. 2 of them are neutral, and 3 of them are good.
That's not far off the actual split of you. Actually, no. Evil's still overrepresented. I did do a bunch of stats on the season as a whole, and yeah, evil was like half of the armies used over the entire season.
Well, they're like more than 2/3 of this set.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this speaks more to the fact that we've got loads of kind of hideous power gamers in this Masters competition, wouldn't you say?
Definitely.
Yeah, good for them.
Plus, as they pointed out in the Masters chat, it's there's a lot of Southerners. So that's another example of why they're taking evil armies.
Because they're all evil people.
Yep.
Yeah, well known. So 7 from the south, 5 from the north, 2 from the Midlands. Go Midlands! I'll be voting for them. And 1 from the proper north, aka Scotland.
There's no voting. Do you not understand how the Masters works?
No,
it's not a voting system.
I thought who we say wins. Is that how it works? Oh.
No.
And 1... So is Nick from Wales or not? Does he live in Bristol? Is he an extra southerner? I thought he's Welsh.
I don't know.
We're going to say he's from Wales. He's repping the dragon.
That's still south.
So there's only 1 list that's taken allies.
Wow.
Yeah, which I was kind of like, ooh, that's unusual. But There you go. So clearly we're not like the US where they just spam allies with gay abandon. All really elite lists. There's really very few horde armies. Even the orcs aren't that hordy.
Yeah, I'll say in advance that what we were discussing earlier is that actually a horde army would do really well at this event. Looking at the rest of the list, if someone had taken, say, your Ratkin list, for example.
Yeah, I'm not sure my Ratkin list would have done well, but maybe Simon might have done well if he'd taken his ridiculous horde army.
Oh yeah.
Oh, to be fair, we've made it sound like the Masters chat is really strategic and we're talking about strategy. They're mainly talking about whether the Queen is dead or not. We'd like to confirm the Queen at this time, as far as we know, still alive.
Yeah.
Still alive. I realise I've been muting the microphone so I can have a drink every now and then and not slur. But then I think my Skype recorder records everything whether I'm muted or not. So...
oh, that's good.
I have to edit it out. I can't be bothered. So you just have to put up with the sound of me swinging. Right, enough wanging on. Let's crack
Everyone
on.
listening to this has to listen to that. I don't, because I don't hear you.
Lucky them. So the first... Do you want to tell Nick, what's the first scenario?
I can't remember.
For God's sake. Begin to the
Occupy.
Now, can you please, for the listeners or watchers who may not know a lot about version 2 Kings of War, or maybe not a lot about Kings of War, please explain this horrendously confusing scenario written by an idiot. Thank you.
It's an amazing scenario that was written by a fantastic, studly, sexy human being.
Elliot Morrish?
Perhaps. No, it wasn't Elliot.
Get on. Explain your scenario.
Okay, so Occupy has 3 secondary objectives in the centre of the board, and you each place a primary objective on your opponent's half of the board, and there's some rules about where the objective markers can actually go. But when it gets to the end of the game, each of the secondary objectives in the middle of the board are worth 1 victory point.
Ooh.
And the primary objective on the opposing half of the board is worth 2 victory points to you. But the one on your side of the board is worth 0.
Gosh. Okay.
So this means that you have to try and defend an objective that is worth nothing to you.
So it's fair to say that this bunch of elite, punchy
Yeah.
armies are going to struggle with the... are you going to use them all, give them all the objective-based scenarios just for a laugh? Make the last one kill. They'd love that. It'd be really
No, kill is outlawed. The guys can rest assured that there is no kill at any tournament that I ever run.
Okay, fair enough. On to the matchups then. So the first matchup is Mr. Simon Heaney versus Mr. Nick Davies. So Simon is taking Trident Realms, and Nick is taking Varangur. So do you want to talk about Simon's list?
Sure. So Simon's list is not going to surprise anyone who's come up against Trident Realms in the past year. So he's got his shooty heart piercers. He's got 9 ensnarers. He's got a couple of knockers. He's got a teleporting Siren and Ector. It's all the staples of a good, solid Trident Realms list. It's served him well. I think it's going to serve him very well this weekend.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard one, but it's going to be... I think this is a very flexible list, isn't it, really? And it's going to match well against a lot of the stuff he's coming up against because he can do pretty much anything with it.
Yeah, definitely. So the really good thing about this list is that it does something in every phase. So it's got a decent amount of shooting, and it's a surprising amount of shooting when you go up against it. It doesn't look like much on paper, but it will get you. But then the secrets of the list, well, it's not so secret, I think everybody knows about it, is the teleporting Ector in particular.
Yeah.
He just teleports in front of something, and that thing is not moving for the rest of the game. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I like it. So let's have a look at Nick Davies' Varangur list. So this is, again, it's a Varangur list. So he's got the Fallen, he's got a couple of Wolves, some Mounted Sons. He's got a regiment of Horse Raiders with bows. A Devourer. I don't think I've ever seen a Devourer. Have you ever played against a Devourer?
Yes. I think I killed it before it did anything.
It's 1618, but yeah, it takes 4. It's got Frost Giant with Blizzard, it's got Magnielda, and it's got King on Chimera with Fury and all that kind of stuff. So it's Varangur, right? So it's a punchy, fast Varangur list. It hits you, it hurts a lot.
Yep. I couldn't put this matchup either way. So sorry, let's go back to the list a second. I was getting ahead of myself there, wasn't I? So there's a couple of interesting choices, shall I say, in this list that I've not really seen much of. So he's got the Horse Raiders, as you say. He's given them the Heart Seeking chant.
That's expensive for them.
Yeah. I'm not sure what to make of that. And it's a very fragile platform as well. I suppose the thing that's going for them, while it's a very fragile platform, there's so much else in the list that you need to deal with that they're not going to get that much attention.
Exactly. You've got stuff to plonk in front of them. They're not a shabby nerf. 14-16's all right. They're kind of a little bit like kind of slow Silver Breeze, to be honest, aren't they?
Yeah, it's enough nerf that you need to pump a decent amount of shots into them or a decent combat unit into them. You can't just fire a couple of lightning bolts at them and they're gone.
I like it. I like this list. I think it's good.
I think it's good, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know either of these players. Let's, rather than make a decision, let's see what the masters of countercharge think. Well, they've both gone for Simon.
Have they?
They've both gone for Simon. They've both gone for the Trident Realm list, which I kind of get because that Trident Realm, it's just... Right, here's another thing, right? So the Varangur, a lot of it hits on 4s. Your Mountain Suns don't, your Fallen don't. The rest of it, and Magnilda doesn't, and the King. Okay, I'm going to stop talking. Oh, so actually, that's a stupid thing to say. There's a lot of instant there. There's a lot of stealthy.
It's difficult to say because while I agree on paper that the Trident Realm list is perhaps a little stronger, I'm not saying
it's not a strong list. Yeah, you're just saying that it's got a lot. It's got a bit more in it, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it's got the right tools to counter this list. Just knowing the players, and of course I love them both. So Simon plays in Scotland, and I don't think that there are many Scottish players who are on a similar tactical level to Simon. He is a very solid player, but I'm not sure how often he faces off against Varangur or this type of quite hard-hitting list. I think he's perhaps relatively inexperienced against this type of list.
Oh, so you're gonna go for Nick.
Oh.
Kirke side. So
like I say, on paper, I think Simon's list has got it. I just think that that Nick perhaps has a bit more experience than Simon, and I think he may be able to pull this out the bag.
All right, so we've got to vote for Nick. I'm going to go for Simon. I think I've played. I tell you why. I've played against Trident Realm a lot. So the person I play the most, pretty much, not the most, but the most from the UK definitely is Matt Gorham, who plays Trident Realm really, and he plays a list that's not dissimilar. In fact, it's practically identical, except with 3 Knuckers, or with and it's just Knuckers
the
are
Trident
so
Realms list.
Good. It's so good. He does, but he doesn't. So he's got a Mythicum with Alchemist Curse, whereas Matt tends to take the whatever the spell was that gave you +1 nerve, whatever that was called, Bastion in version 3. Literally, I've forgotten all of version 2.
Oh dear.
Anyway, but it's pretty similar. So I think Trident Realms is just a great list, really strong. So I'm going to go for Simon. So there you go. All right, let's move on to matchup number 2. So matchup number 2 is 2 shy retiring characters. There's not a lot going on here. It's Matt James versus Dan King.
It's a rules committee off.
It's a rules committee off to see who is the best rules committeer. So Matt's gone for orcs with goblin allies, and Dan has gone for it's his Empire of Dust list that he took to Clash of Kings.
Yeah,
because he very much enjoys playing it. So do you want to talk about Matt's list?
Sure. So at the top is written, "I am so smelly. I am a terrible person." I don't know why he's written that. I don't know why he's written that, but it's right there. So Matt's list is fairly standard orc list. It's got a bit of everything that orcs do. He's got some axe. He's got a great axe horde. He's got some skulks. He's got a couple of gore rider regiments, winged slashers, crushers, wardrum. But for his allies, he's taken a couple of fleabag sniffs regiments and a flagget just to give them some inspiring.
And also that flagget's really good for jumping in front of stuff to annoy them, right? Because it's speed 10.
Yes, imagine if you could charge through it. That would be great.
Wouldn't that be a better rule? Someone in the rules committee should do something. It's almost as if the rules committee are abusing the version 2 rules while they can.
Almost, yeah. But again, it's a fairly standard orc list. And I know that Matt plays similar lists to this. He does very well with them. He's very experienced with this type of list. I think he's going into the event quite confident.
Yeah, well, he's a very, very good player, right? I was expecting him to bring Night Horde, whatever it is, Night Regiments, all the Knights, but he's gone for Orcs, which is fair enough, I think. Why not? So let's. So Dan's list is Dan King. He's the Dark Lord. He's a very, very good player. It's based around 3 hordes of enslaved guardians. He's got some scavengers, the Soul Snare. He's got Mortibriss, the Pathist, the Revenant King, and a couple of regiments of skeletons. That's the whole list. It's actually pretty elite. So I think it's a little bit different from the one he took to Clash of Kings, but he's just very good with it. He's annoyingly good with it, because I look at this list and I think it shouldn't be that good. But he's got all that Wind Blast. It's got Life Leech. Can it cope with the amount of bodies that Matt's about to throw at him?
I don't think so, but I've been very wrong before.
Yeah,
I think Matt certainly has the advantage in board control. He has good matchups against each of Dan's units. What it's going to come down to is how well Dan uses his Wind Blast and the Soul Snare. The Soul Snare is horrible in version 2.
Yeah. How much mounted stuff has Matt got in his list? Quite a lot.
Yeah. So he's got the 2 Fleabag Sniff regiments. He's got a Flagget mounted. He's got
Skulks.
Skulks are always a good option for locking stuff down. He's got Gore Riders, 2 of them. He's got 1 Crusher and Slasher, and then he's got 2 mounted Crushers as well. I think he's going to get one of those Crushers into the Soul Snare fairly early on, and he's going to have that shut down.
Well, don't forget, we've been schooled about telling people how to play, right? So,
yeah. Well,
I'm not even going to cut it out, because if annoying Matt James is the goal, then we're doing very well. So, just for information, the experts from Countercharge have both chosen Dan King, but I think they've chosen Dan King because it's Dan King.
I think that as well,
and they might not be as familiar with Matt as we are. I say,
I've never played him. It's on 3s. I didn't realise that. Oh, I thought they owned 4s.
Enslaved Guardians are really, really good.
Yeah. Okay. That might actually change my answer.
Okay. They also dash 17, which is in fact his whole list. The only thing that's not a dash nerve is Mortibriss and a unit of scavengers. Everything else cannot be wavered.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back. I'm gonna go with Dan. I wasn't aware that Enslaved Guardians had melee 3. I thought they had 4.
Well, just to be ornery, then I'm going to go for Matt James. Go on, cool. Matt. You could do it. Even though Dan was actually the captain of my team in Clash of Kings. I love you, Dan. I just hope he doesn't listen. All right, so let's on to match number 3. So on table 3 we have Ed Herzig versus John Quayle. All right, so Ed has taken Trident Realm because that's what Ed plays, and John has taken Basilean because that's what John plays. So do you want to take Ed's list? Is it exactly the same as the list we've taken? It's the same list. It's almost as if there was a min-max version of Trident Realm that you could take that was perfect.
It's almost unit for unit identical to Simon's list. I don't think the only difference between it is that
he's got more depth horrors, hasn't he?
Ed's got a couple of depth horror units, and Simon had a couple of Thools.
I think Simon had 1 depth horror, 2 Thule, where this has got 2 depth horrors, 1 Naiad Centurion.
Oh, has this one got an extra Naiad Envoy as well?
Yeah, he's taken an Alchemist Curse Envoy instead of a Mythicon. It's
Yeah.
a flying envoy. That's quite good. I like a flying envoy. He's got a flying envoy with critical and Alchemist Curse. That's cool. Anyway, so that is going against John Quayle's arm, which is called Nerf Elohi, you bastards. I'll bloody show you. Which is just...
it's Elohi.
I really like John Quayle. He's such a nice guy. And he's so annoying to play. So he's got 3 hordes of Elohi in a regiment. And that's the list.
Yes, this is a nice off on this table, isn't it? Because you've got Ed Herzig, Mr. Sportsmanship, versus John Quayle, who the bridesmaid of sportsmanship, I think, perhaps.
You reckon? He's
perhaps
also
let down by his lists.
Oh, well, we'll see. I've lost to John more than once, so that's annoying. So he's got tools up Elohi. He's got an Abyss on a Panther. Why not? And he's got Julius. He's got the stupid formation. He's got a Wizard with Mark's Prayer, and an Elohi, and some Gur Panthers, because why not? He's dropped his trademark, which is a troop of foot soldiers. What are they called?
For scoring something.
Yeah, for scoring. That's what he took. Typically, they win him whole games, and he's dropped them, so he's absolutely going to lose. I vote for Ed. Let's see what the experts. I use the word very advisedly. Countercharge. Oh, it's a split vote from Countercharge.
Oh.
So Alex Coos, who frankly is the better player, has voted for Ed, and Rob has voted for John. That makes you the deciding vote.
Makes me the deciding vote. What about you?
I've said Ed. I'm going for Ed.
Oh.
Because John's not taking his men-at-arms, so he's going to lose.
I kind of feel that the advantage is towards John, not just because of the already split votes, but for other reasons as well. Julius is a nightmare. Absolute nightmare.
Defense 6-16 is stupid.
Defense 6-16 with Iron Resolve. He's backed up by a War Wizard with Martyr's Prayer. That's horrendous. Ed is a very good player. He is an absolutely solid player. I'm not sure he's got the crushing strength to get through John's list.
He's got 2 units. He's only got depth horrors are good, but they're only crush strength 1.
Yeah, and they're defense 3, which means even with Ensnare, those low high hordes hitting him are going to hurt, especially if John is able to pick up a cheeky flank somewhere.
So he can teleport his Ector into Julius and just hold him up for the entire game.
No, because you can't charge after teleporting. So if he teleports in front of Julius is just going to fly off everywhere, and that's going to go for all of John's units.
Yeah, okay. There are some things I guess they could have. I'm still...
he could jump in front of the Gur Panthers.
No, let's stop telling them how to play the game because they don't like that. The people don't like that. So you swinging me. I'm looking at these lists and I'm thinking there are tools in Ed's list that can deal with it. I know that I've never even met Ed, and I would love to because he sounds like a really nice guy. But I have played John, and he is just an annoyingly good player. So I'm going to go John. I'm swapping my votes. Sorry, Ed.
That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Once a vote's been taken, that's it. You are not allowed to ever change your mind.
It's my channel. It's my rules. That's what's happening. All right, so we're 3-1 for the Quayle. The Quayle. Okay, on to the next matchup then. What have we got? Let's have a look.
This is George Kirke.
Ooh.
With Night Stalkers.
Yes.
Versus Ian Davies. Sorry, Ian Sturgess, not Ian Davies.
I don't think Ian Davies is going to be at the Masters this year. Bless him. It's not because it's not dead zone. That's why.
Ian Sturgess. Sorry, Ian. Ian Sturgess with his elves.
Ian, I call Ian the Surgeon Sturgess because he plays Trident Realm. Anyway, it doesn't really work in elves. I'm being frank.
No, it doesn't.
Anyway, so tell me about George Kirke's ridiculous flying circus.
It's not a ridiculous flying circus.
Oh, it's not, is it? It is.
No, he's got a callback army.
Ooh, what does that mean?
This will be before your time, won't it? So
I'm but a child.
You are but a child. When Night Stalkers first came out, there was a Night Stalker list, and it was 3 Mind Screeches before nerf because they were horrendous.
Right.
What were those? Oh yeah, it was 3 Mind Screeches and then Fiends, and that was it. That was the Night Stalker list, and it was horrible to play against. So kind of done a callback thing because he's taken his 3 Mind Screeches, but he hasn't got the Fiends. He's got other stuff. So he's got his how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 Nightmare regiments with various artifacts, a couple of Phantom troops, and then a bunch of Scarecrow units.
Okay. And up against that, so Ian has taken an MSU elf list, which I think it's a very Ian choice, isn't it? So
Yes, definitely.
He
does this every time, but then he complains that he's picked the wrong army.
I think he's done it deliberately. Here's a weird thing. I've played against an army that's pretty similar to this. I played against Ian. The only time I've played him, he took an army very similar to this, and he whopped me with it. So he's a very calculating, exacting player. He's like a math hammer nerd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a strategy which he owns up to, which is just talking you into distraction while you're playing. He just talks non-stop. However, having said that, so his list it's a troop of archers, 2 regiments of palace guards, some kindred, some double calves. He's got the cav formation, a regiment of Dragon Riders, a couple of mages, one with Blizzard, one with Alchemist Curse, King to go with the cavalry, Madriga, and the Windborn, the legendary Silverbreeze who do damage with their Wind Blast stuff. So it's lots of bits, and they kind of pick you apart, and if you're not careful, they pick you apart and then you die. And if you get too close, the Stormwind charge into you, right? Because they are the headstrong version. So this list genuinely does work, but I think it works against less experienced players, if I'm honest. And against so much fast, because George's list is pretty fast. It's all speed 10.
Yeah.
It's going to struggle, isn't it, I think? He can take out a unit with that kind of focus. You know what, like Adam does? You get focus shooting, you turn everything around and you focus.
Yep.
But there's 6 flying units.
There's 6 flying units. He's got his Mind Screeches with 36 shots with piercing 3. All right, if they move, they're hitting on 5s, but that's still threatening enough that he can take off one of the Stormwind's units or the Dragon Riders off with a single volley, even if he moves. And then if he messes that up, he can Wind Blast them back.
Yeah.
I think this is a tough matchup for Ian because George has got solid enough shooting that he can practically delete a unit and then move other threatening units out of the way. And I kind of feel that Ian's list almost relies on being able to hit his multiple units at one target. And I think he's really going to struggle to do that against George.
Yeah, let's see what the experts at countercharge, not us losers. They've both gone for George. They've gone for George. You're going for George. However, there is one key critical factor here that you've forgotten, which is that Ian lives in the Midlands, and therefore I'm voting for him. Go on, Ian, you can do it. You're my man. My money's on Ian Sturgess. Go on, Sturge. You can do it. All right, so on to the next one. So Elliot Morrish versus Andy Marshall, who, counter to his character, Andy's quite a lovely bloke. I've met him, right? He's a really nice guy. He's bought an absolute dick list. No offence, Andy.
No, it's not a dick list.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Please, tell me about Andy's list and then explain why it's not.
Because it's thematic, all right? It's fluffy. This is what Dan used to say when he ran his in Low High Spam in first edition, that it was a fluffy list, that he'd taken a theme, and his theme was the most broken overpowered units in the game.
Okay.
Andy hasn't gone for that theme.
No.
He has gone for a Phantom theme.
Phantom. He's like the Phantom of the Opera.
He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regiments of Phantoms, couple of Shadowhounds troops. He's got a Screamer.
What's a Screamer? I've literally never even heard of this unit.
It's not used very often.
Is that because it's rubbish? It looks rubbish.
It's Lightning Bolt 5, that's about it.
It's 115 points for Lightning Bolt 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't get it. Anyway, carry on.
Got a couple of horrors with Bane Chant, and then a couple of Dread Fiends as well.
Just one Dread Fiend. 2 Dread Fiends!
2 Dread Fiends.
Oh, God. Oh, they're not the dragon. What's the dragon called? Void Lurker.
Void Lurker.
Right. Dread Fiends, they're like the Knuckers, right? They're the Knucker equivalent, pretty much. Except speed 8.
Pretty much, but speed 8, yeah.
They're pretty good, though. Yeah, gross. Anyway, so in response to that, we have Elliot's Basilean list, which might as well just be John Quayle's Basilean list.
No, this is balanced, this.
Oh, look, he's got men at arms. Oh, Elliot's going to win. Got men at arms.
No, he's got infantry.
He has got a lot of infantry. So it's an infantry horde, 2 infantry regiments with the formation. He's got 2 Elohi. Only 2 Elohi hordes. He's not even trying. He's still got Julius. But he's got both. He's got Julius and Samachris and a new Elohi. And the stupid formation. Okay. So tell me about you will be very familiar with Elliot's list because you're like bestie buddies. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's horrible. Elliot is very good at picking holes in what you're doing. And if there is an opening, he will take it. He will take that opening. He's very good at using his infantry just to gradually creep up the board and deny areas of board control. I think that's something that Andy's going to struggle with. Yes, he's got his fast units, but they're shambling. Elliot can get on those flanks very quickly.
Yeah, but he's got 6 shambling regiments that are all -16, and he's got 2 surges with Surge 8. That gives him the ability to reposition nearly everywhere. It
does, but I think Elliot will be able to find a hole in the line somewhere.
Yeah, okay, so the counter-charge experts have both gone for Elliot. I'm feeling my choice. I'm going to stick by it. I'm going Andy Marshall. Sorry,
cool.
Elliot. Because someone has to.
Well, it's certainly not going to be an easy game, and it's
tough.
It's going to be very tough for both players. Andy could definitely get it. I'm not going to go into detail because we were told that we're not allowed to do that.
Yeah.
But there's certainly instances where Andy could capitalise on if Elliot does make a mistake, or if a combat does not go well, Andy could very easily find himself picking up some surgy reary charges.
Yeah, nasty. Right. I love it. So who's next?
Next, we have Simon Cooper versus John Guns.
Ah, Simon's like my tournament buddy. We go to tournaments together. So I will tell you. So Simon's list is, you know how like we had like the Trident Realm list.
Yeah. Are you saying that this might be the Abyssal Dwarf?
it's pretty similar. You will see when we get to the other Abyssal Dwarf player. There is a theme with version 2. So Simon's list, I played it quite a lot, actually. We play relatively regularly. He's got 2 regiments of Slave Orcs, some Gargoyles, 3 hordes of Obsidian Golems, some Half-Breeds, Dragonfire teams, Ironcaster, Supreme Ironcaster on the Thing, Dravage Alconov, Infernok. So, you know, it's lots of Defense 6. It's got some Gargoyles, it's got some Chaff, it's got some Breath Weapons, it's got a Dragon. It's got Javik Dalpin. The only thing it doesn't have is Bracky Barker. And who's the mounted guy? The half-breed champion. Is that Bracky Barker?
Yeah, that's Bracky Barker.
Bracky Barker.
You thinking of Pazuzu?
Yeah, he doesn't have Basusu. He's gone for the... He used to have Basusu in this list. He's dropped it for something. That's interesting. So he's gone for the ancient winged half-breed Supreme Ironcaster dude with boots of levitation for some sneaky stuff. So it's a pretty standard Abyssal Dwarf list. And I would like to add for annoyance, I've just lost literally... What day is it today? Monday? Yesterday, I've lost a tournament to Simon. So... Anyway, who's he playing?
He's facing John Guns with his Abyssals, very fast Abyssals. He's got a couple of Gargoyle units, Tortured Souls Horde, Heliquin's Regiment, 2 Abyssal Despoiler Hordes. I know he loves those units, and they were removed in 3rd edition, poor guy.
Oh, no!
He's got a couple of Harbingers. He's got Pazuzu. He's doing it right. He's got Warlock. Why is he taking a Warlock? They're terrible.
He's got Bane Chant.
No, still not worth it. And he's also got Twisted Victims, which I really like myself.
They're very good.
Yeah. Some people don't rate them because they are Defense 4. They're very expensive for Defense 4.
They're Dash 18.
I like them because they're one of the few... Well, in 2nd edition anyway, one of the few non-shambling flyers available to Abyssals that's actually a threat.
Yeah. So, what do we think? Do you want to hear what Countercharge thinks before or after we make our...
Let's not have our opinions sullied by Countercharge.
How dare you? I am Countercharge.
I think this is a very good matchup in favour of John because Simon has a lot of very tough stuff, but his tough stuff is very slow stuff. John has lots of crushing strength and thunderous charge on fast stuff.
Yeah, those 2 hordes of Abyssal Despoilers, they're both Speed 7, they're both CS2, Thunderous 1, and they're both vicious and brutal, and they've got Fury and Regeneration.
And he's got Pathfinder on one of them and Brew Sharpness on the other.
That's tough.
He's got 2 sources of Bane Chants. One of them, which doesn't make sense, but one of them is on a Abyssal Harbinger. That they just almost seem custom made for taking out Golem Hordes.
Big Golem Hordes.
Yeah. Now John was going up against a low defense army, a low defense horde army. I think he would really struggle, but I almost feel that. Sorry, Simon, to say this, but I almost feel that Simon's list is what John had in mind when he was writing his list.
And so we do feel sorry because Simon is like the nicest person ever. He's just a lovely, lovely guy. But you have forgotten one thing about Simon.
Okay.
Which is that he is from the Midlands, and therefore I'm voting for him. Come on, Simon! Come with it! Simon's a very good player, and he has had a lot of experience recently and got wild. When I first played, actually Simon was my very first Kings of War opponent. The very first game of Kings of War I played against someone that wasn't my son was against Simon. And he has wildly got better. He's really, really come on. Having said, not that he was a bad player by any means. I'm really digging a hole right now. I love you, Simon. Yeah. I'm driving him to Masters. I'm in a car with him driving to Masters on Saturday morning. So I'm going to vote for Simon because he's going to win because he's the better player. All right? Yes? Can I help you?
Sorry, I was just looking at John's list. He's taken Fire Oil on a troop of gargoyles.
Has he?
Yeah, and it's got a Harbinger without an artifact. Now, I know that they've got the
He's got the loot. The Harbinger's got a loot. Oh, there's another one.
He's got 2. One of them's got the loot, one of them hasn't. Now, I know that they have the Firebolt, one shooting attack with Firebolt. I kind of feel that I would still take the Warbow just to give you that option.
That's quite a picky choice, Nick. I'm going to be honest with you. That's a very small adjustment to the list.
I know.
Is that one attack going to make that much of a difference?
It might do. He might just need to force a nerve check on something that is over 18 inches away.
But what if the gargoyles get a flank on somebody with regeneration? Imagine that, huh? Then he'd be laughing, wouldn't he? Eh? I watch Andy Ransom's videos. I know about gargoyles, let me tell you. He's an expert. Anyway, Simon's going to win.
Anyway.
Because his list is better and he's better. So you all suck. Right, moving on. Who's next?
We have Mr. Rob Phipps, who's running Abyssal Dwarfs.
Sparta! Continue.
He's up against Sam Barker with his orcs.
Well, I'm supposed to be opening the list, and instead I'm pouring a drink. Hang on.
How terrible is that?
Sorry. Priorities. All right, I love Rob Phipps. I love Rob Phipps.
Oh, he's another lovely one, isn't he? So many lovely people. Sam's lovely as well.
Sam is, yeah, I was about to say, Sam's really nice.
I feel really guilty at times because me and Elliot were quite talking down about Sam last time. On Sam's list last time because we didn't understand it. So I promise I'll be nicer this time, Sam.
Well, here's the thing about Sam, because Sam, correct me if I'm wrong, hasn't Sam been playing dwarves all year?
Has he?
Let's check. If only there was an easy reference site to look it up on.
Oh, is there? I don't know.
Where's Sam Barker? I've lost him. Oh, wait, that's got me in the wrong year.
14. That's why. No, he's got 3 events with orcs under his belt. Although they were quite a while ago.
Where do you find that? Where do I click? Results? Ah, yeah, okay. Yeah. So as I said, Nick.
So yes, when you click results, you get the results page.
Very difficult to navigate. This is what happens if you let a data nerd design a site, honestly. Anyway, so the last 4 tournaments he's done have been with dwarves. I was right because I've only been playing tournaments.
No, you weren't right. You said he's been playing dwarves all year.
Financial year.
No, 21st of April.
Oh, my financial year starts in May. it actually doesn't.
But yeah, the interesting thing is that Sam has played orcs 3 times this year, but they were all early on in the year. The latest one was the 21st of April. Yeah. All the events since then, it's been dwarfs.
He's been dwarfing it up. I've only really been playing events this year. He's been all dwarfs, and I've met him and played him. So he's gone for orcs. So his orcs it's a quite, well, I'd say it's a relatively elite orc list, given that orcs can go hordes. So he's got Horde of Greycats, 2 troops of Sculpts, 3 Gore Rider regiments, 2 Grudges, a God Speaker with heal and all that nonsense.
2 Grudges on slashers, that's important.
Oh, yeah. Winged Grudges. God Speaker with the heal and Shroud of Saint and all that, Gakamak and a War Drum. So basically it's double dragon, triple cavalry, 1 horde, double chaff, and a hero. What's Rob brought? Oh, it's the Abyssal Dwarf list.
No, this is a different Abyssal Dwarf list.
It's not that different.
He's only got 2 hordes of lesser obsidian golems.
He's just swapped a horde of golems for a regiment of half-breeds.
Yep.
It's literally... Oh, he's bought Araki Barker.
Yeah, so there's some differences.
Yeah, Badoom. What does Badoom do? Oh, it makes Bracky Barker super, super, super inspiring or something.
Yes, and also the Abyssal half-breeds get Fury.
That's good.
Like that. But it's not Abyssal half-breeds. I don't care for Abyssal half-breeds.
They are terrible, aren't they?
I don't like them. I've tried to use them.
They just die really quickly.
And they didn't get any better in version 3.
Right, fair enough. Abyssal Dwarfs got literally every other freaking toy in the book, so I think they're fine. Anyway, so it's the standard Abyssal Dwarf list with some tweaks versus a really elite orc list. Tell me what you think about this orc list. Tell me.
Well, I was thinking that we should perhaps actually list out what Rob has got.
Okay, go on then. You crack on.
It's but he's got his 2 hordes of obsidian golems. He's got 2 abyssal half-breed regiments. He's got an overmaster and ancient winged half-breed, basically a dragon. Ironcaster, that's fairly unusual. Bracky Barker, another character whose name I'm not going to try and pronounce.
Dravak Dalkin.
Yes. Infernock is taking the Barradoon formation.
That Ironcast is really interesting. It's a complete Swiss Army knife.
It
So
is.
He's given it everything.
He has.
Surge, Blizzard, and Shroud of the Saint.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, we've not seen much Blizzard so far, have we?
There was wasn't there the guy who had the Ice Giant with Blizzard? Someone did have that.
Nick Davies?
Yeah, it was on the Varangur list.
I was expecting to see it a lot more, though.
That's because people realised it was terrible.
It is not terrible.
It never bloody hits. Except when it does.
Except when it does, and then it deletes a unit.
I just don't think it's worth it. Not for 30 points. That's just my opinion. Just my opinion!
It's worth it if you go all in.
Yeah, well. Yeah. Anyway, move on.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah. This... I think Sam's got this.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. Again, it kind of feels to me like this is, like Rob's list is what Sam had when he was writing his list. It's a very strong list, so he's got his Great Axe Horde with the Brewer Sharpness hitting on 2s. Oh. Good lord. 25 attacks hitting on 2s.
And it's it'll be a 23-25 because that War Drum's going to always be next to it, right?
I think the War Drum's going to keep up with the Gore Riders, personally. But even so, 21-23 is a lot of nerve to chew through. And the other thing is that there's more threats in the list. It's one of those things where, yeah, okay, on paper it's not the toughest unit to shift, but you still need to put a decent amount into it. And there are bigger targets in this list that you need to concentrate on first. So I think it's quite sneaky in that regard.
It's kind of like a dwarf. It's kind of like, what's they called? What's the dwarf bloody cavalry called in normal dwarves? Berserkers.
Yeah.
Brocks. It's like a Brock list, but it's an orc version of a Brock list.
What Brock list have you been playing, which has got crunches on slashers?
Wait, imagine you could take dragons with loads of Brocks. It's nothing like a Brock list. I don't even know why I said that. I think it was the Abyssal Dwarf list. I've had quite a lot of whiskey at this point. We're 47 minutes into the cast and I've gone right off.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh.
Well, let's get back on track anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
So, Rob's list is very tough. It is going to come down to how Rob uses his characters. But I'm also looking at Sam's list and seeing that he's got more characters. Because he's got the 2 Crunches on slashers and Gakamak. Gakamak is amazing. He's just like an instant 6 damage for you, 6 damage for you, 6 damage for everybody.
Yeah, he's good. Hitting on 2s is stupid, and he's putting him on a Gore Rider. Right, I think the weakness in Rob's list is that Ironcast. He's put too much on him. If you're going to put that much on him, you need to be able to cast more than one spell. He's not going to have enough. He's got too much to cast. Is he the only Surger he's got? Oh no, Dravak can Surge as well.
Yeah. So he's got plenty of Surge. He's covered for Surge. I'm just not sure that he's going to get to use it. I think Sam's going to be on him and taking things off in one hit.
The countercharge experts are split.
Okay.
So Rob has voted for Rob. But he might have done that just because he's got the same name. You never know.
Quite possibly.
Alex has gone for Sam. So, I'm going to plump for... this is difficult. I'm going to go for Rob. Because
go for Rob.
He's just got a lot of tools, and he is very good with Abyssal Dwarves.
He is very good. I think if anyone can overcome the matchup, like I say, on paper, I think it's Sam with a strong advantage. But I think if there's anyone that can overcome the matchup with Abyssal Dwarves, I think it's Rob. I just think that going in, Sam has the advantage.
Fair enough then. And last of all, a shy. So last table. A shy retiring, not very good player. He's not heard of very much. No one likes him. It's Paul Fox. No, sorry, Tom Robinson versus Paul Fox. Paul Fox, where has he been? Didn't he quit?
I thought he had, but he's back. I'm glad
back.
to see that because he's a great guy.
I've never met him.
And his armies are always hilarious.
I've never met him, and he's playing Tom. Lovely, lovely Tom Robinson.
Yep.
Who has bought a completely normal, absolutely stupid. What did he call it today? He called it something brilliant. I have to look it up because it was so funny. It genuinely made me...
he had tons of names to think for it, didn't he?
It genuinely made me laugh because I think his army is really annoying and stupid, and I don't like it. However, I think it's dumb, and I think
it's the stupidest army ever, but it's Tom.
I think he's dumb for taking it, and I'm going to tell him that to his face. I won't really. I'm quite scared of him because he's stronger than I am. I'm just scrolling up through more Queen discussion. Hang on. Who is it?
It was after the Queen discussion because it was today.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, I've gone through Andy. Andy's posted a picture of some tiles. Here we are. Okay. He's called it the Ghost Railgun, the Wraithel Gun, the Reaper Repeater, the Incorporeal Corpse Cannon, the Return of the King Ripoff, the Pistol Whips and Chains, and the Ectoplasm Ejaculator.
Should we explain what we're laughing at?
Yes. So he has a regiment of Wraiths with Brew of Strength. He has 5 regiments of zombies. He's got 2 Rev...
And then all the dragons.
He's got every dragon. He's got 2 Rev Kings on worms, 2 Rev Kings on undead great flying worms, and an Necro. Oh, 3 Rev Kings on undead great. He's got 5 dragons, 1 Necromancer, 5 zombie regiments, and a Wraith regiment. And the reason it's the Ectoplasm Ejaculator is he's planning to ejaculate his Wraiths across the board with game abandon.
He railguns his Wraith. So what did you say? So he had like Surge 34?
Something like that. So he did this at Battle Masters, which was a 2,500, where he had 7 dragons. But and I'm really glad I didn't play him. But I was supposed to in the first game, but it got changed. And then so he had a horde of zombie trolls.
And he railgunned the zombie trolls, didn't he?
He did. He railgunned them into an individual in John Quayle's army, and they
bounced.
And they bounced.
on turn 1, he railgunned the zombie trolls into
a single individual, and they bounced off him, which is hilarious. So, why do you think he's changed the zombie trolls to wraiths? Is it because they're defense 6 and they could just last longer?
I don't know.
It's because he's mental. So Brew of Strength Wraiths they're pretty good. 12 attacks on 3s, I guess. So
no 4s.
No 3s. Brew of Strength. Oh, Brew of Strength. Sorry, not Brew of Strength.
Brew of Strength.
So it costs 2. Yeah. So lots of dragons is good. I get that. Anyway, what's he facing?
Yeah. He's up against Paul Fox, who's got his cotton wool army. So he's got a horde of larvae. He's got 2 regiments of tortured souls and a horde of tortured souls. So those are his cotton wool units.
A horde of tortured souls? I've literally never seen a horde of tortured souls on the table.
Oh, I have. Run by Paul Fox.
With sharpness as well.
Yes. He's got Regiment Harlequins, Bissell Harbinger. He's got the Well of Souls, Bazuzu, and he's got Twisted Victims as well. So it's a very fast list.
Yeah.
It's all tortured souls. He's got the larvae just for sitting on objectives, I believe.
It's hard to get rid of. You're going to need to put 3 dragons in that to get rid of it.
More than that, they're in snare. I think the thing that's going to mess Tom up is that his dragons are all melee 4.
Yeah.
Now, I think that if Paul makes a mistake, Tom will capitalise on it.
Yeah. And that's
he
his thing,
absolutely
right?
will. Tom
never makes a mistake, right?
Yeah. If he makes a mistake. If he doesn't make a mistake, I think that Paul can grind Tom down.
I don't know Paul at all, so I have no. He's a Moonraker, right? He's a very good player, as I understand it.
Paul is a very, very good player. I've had some very close games against him, and I've I know one of them I only won because I double sixed something.
I got to tell you, at the weekend, I didn't roll under a 10 3 turns in a row on nerve checks against poor side brand. Anyway, move on. So counter charge have split again.
Well, but Tom Robinson's from Leeds, so I've got to give my vote to Tom.
So Alex has gone for Tom, and Rob's gone for Paul. And I am. So you've gone for Tom. I think, to be honest, I think Tom's list really, really worked for 2,500 points with 7 dragons, because 7 dragons is so appalling. It's just really difficult to deal with. But I just don't think Wraiths are that good. Everything hits on 4 in this list. And there's just
exactly.
Not that much
any terrain, he's gone.
And zombie regiments are dash 15, which is very killable when you've got an army looking like Paul's with torch. You know, he's got a lot of crush. He's got Heliquins, and there's the Will and Soul. Oh yeah, I'm giving it to Paul. Sorry, Tom.
The thing that makes me pause. Well, I know I've already said Tom, but what Tom will be really good at is using those zombie regiments for objectives. Paul is going to have to work very hard to shift the dragons, generally, because they're one of the most undercosted units in 2nd edition with that nerve.
Yep.
He's going to struggle to shift the dragons generally like that, but I think he'll probably run out of time to grab the objectives once he has dealt with the dragons.
Yeah, that is a good point. As I was confidently saying Paul, I was looking down and realising that all of his stuff is melee 4 as well, apart from the Heliquins. And Besusu. And it's just, I watched Tom play on Universal Battle the other day, and he's horrible. He's horrible. He's horrible to play against. It wasn't me playing him, someone else. I don't know Paul at all. So I'm assuming that Paul is like a phenom. He's like, I can't think of a phenom. He's a very clever man. So I'm assuming he's brilliant. Therefore, I'm still going to vote for Paul. And Tom could beat me up later. It's fine. He's quite a tough guy, isn't he? Cool. So we're done. That's the matchup.
I suppose the other thing that we need to discuss is who do we think's got it?
Oh, who's going to win? The whole thing. Who's going to be the UK master? Who's your bet?
Let's go for 3 of them.
Oh Jesus! I don't want to do this because.
Well, let's just pick one.
I thrive on people liking me, and therefore, if I pick one person, everyone else will hate me, and I feel bad.
No, but everyone hates you anyway.
That's true. Oh Jesus Christ! I'm gonna have to spend an extra hour in the shame cave. Like when Kyle put me in front of a green screen and then didn't put anything on the green screen. Why, Kyle? Why? Anyway, right. Who's going to be UK Master?
I don't think it's going to be Tom this year. And I know he's playing as a bit of a laugh. I mean, his mastery is still obviously very good, but in terms of his list, he's not necessarily going to try and win. He has won before, and he's going to have fun, and he wants to do his zombie. It's not his zombie railgun, his wraith railgun. And I think there'll be times where he gives up the game just to do the railgun.
Just for fun.
Just for fun. I'm leaning towards either John Quayle or Elliot Morrish.
Okay. Well, we can give 2. So I'm going to go. Go on, carry on.
So of the 2, Elliot's awesome. Sorry, Elle, not Elliot. Ellie's awesome.
Has he changed his name?
Yeah, it's Elle now.
What? Why? Never mind. Tell me later. Carry on.
So just because Elle is driving me to the venue, driving me back, I'm going to go with Elle for the favourites, but John Quayle is a very close second favourite.
Okay, good. I am going to. So I think nobody has faced the fire and fury of Simon Heaney outside of you within England.
Tom and Elliot have. Sorry, Tom and Elle have.
I'm going to go. I think Simon Heaney's got a strong list. He's a very good player. So Simon Heaney outside is going to come in. He's my number one.
Mm-hmm.
Number two. Difficult. Yeah. Don't know. Okay, I'm going to George Kirke.
George Kirke?
George is a great player. He had he was on last year's Masters. He was off against Adam in the final, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
And he couldn't quite get the scenario to win.
He couldn't quite get the scenario to win, and I think he was playing a weaker list because he was going all in on Windblast last year.
Yeah.
Whereas this year, I think he's playing a bit more of a serious list.
So I think it's either Simon or George. That's my vote. Go on, lads.
Good votes.
We should have chosen someone for the Midlands. I think it's going to be either Ian Sturgess or Simon Cooper. That's who it's going to be. All right, cool. So I think we're done. Oh, so I'm going to try and get this edited up and posted, hopefully tomorrow at some point. Although I'm driving to Wales for reasons I don't want to talk about. Cool. And we're going to try and stream the matches from Masters. If we can't stream them, we will record them and post them post-haste, but without commentary. If we can stream them, then I will talk nonsense all over them. If we can post them, then I will just post them.
Well, that's the other question. Because if we want to do streaming, we need to make sure that whoever's talking about the game can't be heard by the players. I'm not sure there's anywhere in Sanctuary where we can do that.
Well, I've got this is quite technical. We're getting into technical here. I've got a 10-meter USB cable, so I can be far enough away so they can't hear me, and I'll be talking into just a headset.
The sound carries in Sanctuary.
We'll work it out.
We'll try.
It's fine.
But I just have to say,
gentle punters. So it may be you just get a very echoey microphone on the table, and you hear literally everyone from all around and lots of noise. But if that's the case, turn off the sound, and you can enjoy the magnificent low-quality visuals of my webcam. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Williams. I shall look forward to seeing you.
Yep, and you.
You won't be wearing shorts, right? Because it's going to be bloody freezing.
I think I might have chucked them.
I've kept them, like once.
Oh.
I'm not wearing them.
If I haven't chucked them, then they might make an appearance.
I'm bringing a radiator. I'm literally going to... I'm going to tap it now. I'm bringing that. That's what I'm bringing.
The Sanctuary are going to hate us for their electricity bills, aren't they?
Who cares? I need to be warm. Cool. See you Saturday, mate.
See you Saturday.
Look forward to it. Cheers. Bye-bye.
See ya. Bye.